All right, guys, thanks for checking me out. Happy Sunday. Let's get prepared. Put together a watch list for the week, all right, because we don't want to go into the week unprepared. All right, so first, let's do what we always got to do first. We always got to look at the overall markets. I like to follow the ETFs, the triple Qs, and the SPY, as well as the VIX, IWM, XLE, XLF. But to keep this video from being an hour long, I just want to focus on the two ETFs, triple Qs, and the SPY. So on the triple Qs, this range here, you guys, this range here is February's high and low. All right, you see that we are not able to stay above that here in the month of March. So we see we have a level of support down around 580, which was a previous level of resistance, right? But this is the next level that we will be watching on the Qs is this 580 level. This is our new range right here in between 595 and 580 on the triple Qs. That is what we will be watching to see who's going to take over. Are the Bears going to take over and break us under 580, or are the Bulls going to try to regain some control and take us over 595? Let's move on to the SPY. SPY, the same thing. We have February's high, February's low, right? Support down around 650. Told you guys last week 650 was a level that we were watching for because we did not maintain that 670 level. 670 level, that support level was pretty weak. So what we're watching for now is, are the Bears going to push us under 650, or are the Bulls going to get us back above 665? Right, that's what we need to be watching for in the SPY in our coming trading sessions. All right, so let's look at some individual names that I feel like have some potential to move. The number one on the list is AMD, you guys. AMD is the first one that I will be paying attention to Monday, Tuesday, because on Friday I told you guys in the Discord that 200 level, we needed to close above that level. If we zoom out on our 4-hour chart, you can see this 200 level back in November, December of last year. It was a really nice level of support. Here in the month of February and March, we've broken under that 200 level, right? We have not been able to hold it. We've gotten back above it, but we just can't hold that 200 level. So I told you guys, if we're able to close above that 200 level, then we will look for the push over a previous high of 209, and then our next target after that is up towards the 227 230 area on AMD. So that's what we're watching out for. If I'll get any more, let's dive a little bit deeper, right? So let's go to our 10-day 10-minute chart, and this is exactly what I'm watching out for. All right, we have a high of Friday at around 206, Thursday and Friday right here, double top around 206, 205.80, 206, somewhere in this range. We see a double top. We have a low of Friday, so this is what we're playing off of. Are we going to retest that 200 level for a bounce to go higher, or are we just going to have a gap up on Monday, break out over 206, have a pullback to see if we're going to confirm the new level of support over 206, right? Are we going to break, retest, and break out over 209, or are we going to retest and go higher that way? So those are the two theories that I'm watching out for on AMD, you guys. AMD looks really good, man. It looks really good. The next one that I want to talk about is GameStop, right? Ticker symbol GME. All right, GameStop is back in the spotlight. Historically, this stock has a 75% win rate for a pre-earnings run up. In 3 days, in the 3 days leading, right, we average a gain of 8%. So 3 days into earnings, they average 8%. All right, the Bears are focused on this 31% drop in hardware sales, but the bulls, bulls and bears are so different. The bears care about fundamentals. The bulls don't care about fundamentals. All right, the bulls are eyeing a cash pile, a 1.2 billion dollar cash pile. So that is what I believe the bulls will try to push this up for. Okay, so what we want to watch out for if we take this back out to the, let's go to our monthly chart and let's go to Tuesday, map out the high and the low, right, of February. The 20-day moving average is around 24.65. Let's go to our 4-hour chart. Look at this range. Look at this really nice range. Temporarily broke out of that range back in September of last year, but quickly fell back into it. All right, lost it in October, again in October, and then here we are in February, and it is a nice level of support. We retested that support, that resistance level of September here in February, not able to get it. So that is what we're watching out for now, you guys. We are watching out for that resistance level at 25.85. All right, a break above 26 is going to be a really nice game changer and probably will be a squeeze if we get over 26, you guys. If we get over 26, GameStop will be a nice squeeze back up to that 28.30 level, and if that level breaks, this thing can really run, right? This thing can really run. If we look, let's zoom out, let's go to the weekly chart. This thing, when it rips, look at where it rips at, 28, 25. Once it gets over this level, it got up to 64, back down, then back up to 34 a few times. So over 25, this thing really rips. That's why I'm telling you guys, look for that pullback over 25.84, over 26 for a squeeze back to the 30s. That is what we are watching on GameStop. All right, the third one down is ticker symbol CHWY. This one, you guys, is currently bearish. All right, down 50% from the June highs, but it is reaching an oversold level. All right, on our RSI down here, we're reaching an oversold level. All right, so we are due for a bounce in this. The pivot point for this is at $25. Mark out our low and our high, right? We can go back to our monthly, mark out that high of February, marked out that low of February. All right, go into our 4-hour chart, and these are our levels, you guys. Let's see if we can bounce off of this 23 level. The current ask is 23.65. So I like to buy the breakout. Some of you might like to buy the bounce. I like to buy the breakout retest. All right, so I want to see a breakout retest over that 25 level for the move up to around 28. All right, that is what I'm watching for, with a target, with a price target of about 31.15. All right, if earnings is a beat, right, we could probably get a 15 to 20% gap up. All right, which is typical for this ticker. All right, this is a value bounce, so we will focus on that breakout over 25 come Wednesday. They have earnings before the opening on Wednesday, so mark these levels out, you guys, and get ready to trade these levels. Let's go to our next one down is ticker symbol CCL. All right, they have earnings on Friday before the opening. Let's zoom out to our monthly chart, map out February's high, February's low. All right, and then let's zoom in. We can map out March's low. All right, and here we have our levels. All right, CCL has been the worst performing cruise liner in 2026 due to surging fuel costs. All right, with oil at $100, this thing has been the worst performer. All right, booking data for 2027 They're at record highs though. They're at record highs. Fundamentals, expect for earnings to be 18 cents a share versus the 13 cents a share last year. The risk is the fuel. The risk is the fuel, you guys. If management says that they can offset the oil with this conflict we have going right now, expect this to take off, you guys. The RSI is oversold. If we go out to the daily chart, the RSI is oversold. So we have a low around here at around 23.40. As you guys can see, previous level of support, and we ripped. The same thing can happen if management comes out and gives us a good expectation for what they're going to do about the oil and fuel prices. All right. Resistance. Let's map that out. Let me erase that. Map out our resistance. Let's go down. We can go to our 10-day, 10-minute. Bam. We're going to move this up. Here is our low, right? Here is our low of Friday. Here's our super low, right, of March at around 23.47. But let's eyeball the low of Friday, all right, and eyeball this level here. So what we want to see this stock do is potentially retest Friday's low, right, to confirm that we are ready for earnings on Friday. We need to stay above Friday's low, right, to have any potential to really spike after we hear what they say when earnings comes around. All right. So Friday's high at around 24. Let's see this midweek. Wednesday, I'll get back to you guys. Let's see if we're over 24.75 come Wednesday. All right, that is what I believe we really need to see, because we see last week or about 2 weeks ago, we broke that 25.25 level, but quickly got back up under that. So say Wednesday, Thursday, sometime before earnings, if we're above 24.75, I think this, and we get good earnings, we are going to crack that 25.25 level again. And then $27, here we come. All right, the last one, you guys, that I want to talk about really quickly is ticker symbol SOC. SOC. Let's zoom out. Already got these mapped out, right? I have the high mapped out of March, and we're going to map out the low of March, because February is insignificant in my opinion at this current moment, because we're above the 200-day moving average at around 992-ish, around that $10 area. So February's levels are kind of irrelevant in my opinion. We spiked up to around $20.14, quickly got back up under that. But look at this level right here at around $16, you guys. Do you guys see all that support in here? Do you guys see all that support? All right, nice level of support on SOC in this range, you guys, in this range. This is a black swan play. As long as the conflict in Iran persists, energy volume will remain at a 3-year high for sure. All right, fundamentals, direct beneficiary of the pipeline restart in California. All right, revenue growth is projected to explode in the second quarter of 2026. All right, technical, you guys see my technical levels. We got our high, we got our support and our resistance right here. We got Friday's high. That is the level that we will be watching out for, you guys, is Friday's high. This play is a safe haven. All right, heavy tech plays like AMD, like Nvidia, right, they might be rotating into plays like this, because this, if we go back to that monthly chart, look at this candle here, you guys. It is really moving. We go to that weekly chart, really nice moves, nice little pullback to take a breath before we break this 1926 level, and then we can easily see 22.24 here in the coming weeks. All right, so put all these tickers on your charts, map out the levels, and get ready to trade these guys next week. Y'all be easy. Let's trade smart.